Unless we see Hesu throw it over into the EXP, which I don't think is going to be the case. But now we see the Moskov bans, and they want to make sure that Upatizi has an easier time, because in game number 1, we saw VP high priority of making sure that Superior Gorka was going to have a semi-decent time, or at least play a matchup that he's comfortable with.
What if he just ends up, like, picking the Harith? It's just a Harith Granger matchup, because you see the Moskov here. They might force that just because maybe Upatizi is also favorable for playing that matchup if that's the case. So if they do go for another gold lane ban, we'll see if they do that. For VP though, they want to go ahead and focus down some of these XP lane picks. That's also just respect right there, especially with the game that Hesu just had. And then we'll see if they actually go for one more here, because still quite a few options that you could throw in the XP lane. Would they actually go for a Esmeralda if Corinthians wanted to?
I mean, it's an option for sure. And by the way, I do agree, like, banning out the Harith would be pretty good here, because I kind of feel like in this current meta, like before this Granger dominates against the Harith, but now Harith doesn't have to be too stingy about his ult. Like, yeah, you can actually have a better matchup going up against the Granger.
I don't mind it. But I don't think there's a better ban out there, because it feels pretty good if Corinthians like, oh, I'll give you the Harith, but then your entire damage profile is generally heavy towards the magic side of things, and
which is okay.
Which is okay, but then there is an assumption here that whether or not do you have enough shred to make it work, and then itemizing becomes very easy, especially since Uranus still on the table for either side. And I think that this is probably the angle, unless we see Real Solo say, hey, I don't know about this Uranus, especially when you're playing up against the Fulvius, you're going to get sandbagged. You have to accept that fact.
Well, he bans it out.
Nice.
So he doesn't want to deal with it. Uranus is taken out. So now we get to see if they go with the XP lane option or they hold that for later. They still need the mid lane too. Farsa is still open. Not sure if they want to just take that and make it work, because still they need some. I feel like they still need something that works with your burst damage, especially in the mid lane, especially with the fact that you have a Lancelot there, and it gives time and space for a Granger to move. I always think that's one of the better things to have, is once you have that Feathered Airstrike, it kind of gives a little bit of almost a safe space for Granger or any of the gold laners to position through. So it's either that, or for me, it's also like the Eve, for example. But Corinthians, they just go with the Selena.
Something to consider as well is that Hilda, because we've seen a lot of teams using the Hilda to make sure that this Lancelot doesn't have free reign. VP has that option, because even with a Hilda, they still have OKCC with the Jushin.
I think Hilda comes into the roam position. They look to try and win out the 2v2, but it really doesn't matter with Concussive Blast, Gatot, and especially with the power of his wave clear. They won't interact as much as they would hope for. I think that's the big issue here, right? Badang gets locked in for the side of VP. I'm all for it. This way, the Joy doesn't have to worry about getting disrupted in the middle of its combinations, unless Corinthians has got a super pick. What?
Is this debut? Or
Yeah.
This is, right?
I mean, you don't even have stats for it. That's how you know it's debut.
Okay, that's
right?
how we know.
So yeah, I'm actually liking it, because I said that they got to simple it down, and hey, Clint's pretty simple.
Why not go for Irithel? Why not?
That's a little too complicated.
Hey, that's very complicated, bro.
Oh,
We're going to
You attack while you're moving, bro.
It's like, oh, you could press one button compared to pressing 3 different buttons in the same cycle, plus weaving auto attacks in.
Granger's moving too much. I'm going to bola him.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Ranger's coming out. Hey, personally, for me, I actually do like the Clint.
I do too. I'm always a fan when he comes up. Not just because we always naturally just end up doing some kind of a attempt to a Western accent, but you know, I like.
Hey, no accents.
Hey, no cowboy hats here just yet.
Anyways, I'm going to throw it over to you guys, because it looks like you guys have a lot of thoughts on this.
Yeah, I definitely have a lot of thoughts on it. Don't get me wrong. I love this game. And once again, thank you, LaFell. I like Clint as a hero. Do I think it's necessarily good in this particular position, right? Because what does this mean for the squad? It means that they're very reliant on Endoryu to snowball, and he has to play towards the strong side of the map. In this case, that strong side is going to be the gold side. As we get into the Land of Dawn, with match point on the line, elimination so close for BP. Can Corinthians seal the deal here, right? They see that Clint. They know that BP is going to be moving towards that side of the map. How do they manage? Do they attack the opposite side? My guess is that they mirror their opponents, because the base damages, and more importantly, if Frost is able to hurt Bobber, wait, no, purifies for the side of Virtus.Pro.
That's a little dangerous.
I mean, there's still glue on the other side, right? So it's like, oh no, he wants to jump on top of me. If I don't want to get displaced, I have to flicker.
Yeah, you know, and that's what I like to call the athletic flicker, because that's what they're going to have to rely on over here. But right now, Super Igorka is doing a good job of just going and holding down the lane against upaTZ. Taking a look at the emblems here. So he went with the Quantum Charge. He also has the Mystery Shop, so he wants to go ahead and build up. What does a Clint even build up here now? It's been a while since I've seen one.
I mean, there's a lot of different variations of Clint builds that you could go for. Generally, you want to have an endless battle at some point of time. Some even like to go, depending if you want like extra burst damage early. Wait, hold on, Pluto, are you okay? No, he's going to be totally fine. Some even go for Blade, make sure they go for Heptases, right? Yeah. To get that initial punch once you hit level 4. Yeah,
a little burst doesn't bother anybody right now, but he's holding the lane. Luis is going to charge the Unbreakable. Won't connect, though. So taking a couple shots, but still going to be relatively fine. Also, a little sidestep on the arrow. So, you know, Super Igorka, he's like, and I feel like this is a Wild West up here, basically, at this point.
Oh, yeah. Most people, I mean, the Corinthians are trying to force the Matrix on top of him, but Hesu, that was some trouble. Oh.
Hesu, pretty tanky, though. He's going to be fine. It takes up a lot of it. Turtle at half health. Flick's going to go ahead and jump in, and they go for it. Over hits the turtle, and now the fight still going to be breaking out. Infernal Pursuit there, and they find Flick as he falls as well. The trade, though, the 1-for-1, but the objective goes to VP.
Just quick shouts of energy, excitement, and more life being breathed coming in from the side of Virtus.Pro, right? They get a winning scenario on their side. They get the neutral objective, and now with 1-to-1, they need to make sure that they can unlock Super Gorka out of this lane as soon as possible, right? The initial invade on some of the side camps, and oh no.
Good arrow, but Wolver's there to help him out. They're going to force the fight. Super Gorka has a couple shots lined up. Will force upaTZ back, and Pluto still actually alive. Now Flick trying to run away, has the Flantern right above the head. An arrow going to be able to land, and now Frost jumping back in on Andoryu. Can Andoryu escape? He does. I'm so surprised no one went down in that whole fight.
Yeah, same. I can't believe everybody kind of walked away with just like a sliver of HP. It's a bit of a mistake, a little bit of a mistake, I'm not going to lie, from, no, Flick,
that is danger.
He's so greedy. He's dead.
No, wait, no, he gets, wow, I'm surprised. Flick decided to stay that low. A great play, an initiation. Can they actually go ahead and take this buff and maybe more for Virtus.Pro? They go for the purple, now jumping back in. That's what they wanted. They'll back off. That's really bad for Flick.
Yeah, pretty awful for Flick. Very nice for Virtus.Pro, because now they're in a very powerful position of their own. Having that level up, they know exactly where he's going to be, and it gives them more incentive to start sending their troops up to that top side of the map. Super Igorka, he's doing fine against upaTZ. He even has a level lead on upaTZ because of these neutral objectives, and that's exactly the game plan that Virtus.Pro is going for.
Find themselves with a little bit of a lead to work with. This Turtle's coming up, but it's Corinthians that still wants to fight for this positioning to have that advantage. Luis will take some damage, have to pop the Revitalize, and an arrow's going to land. Not sure how much more he can take. Infernal Pursuit from Badcott goes in with the Dark Wave. Still looking for Luis, but here comes Hesu. Super Igorka on the other side of the Turtle Pit, and they're forced back. A couple battle spells were used, but now they just face each other off. They're going to go for a little bit of a reset here.
They're going to try for the reset. Some decent ultimates are out. No Phantom Execution. Good arrow from Frost. But Luis, he still has the Game Changer. He still has the AOG, and he's about to come into within range of that turtle.
Yeah, he's trying to make his way here. Fight already breaking out. Abyssal Arrow's going to be able to find the mark, and they get Badcott. There's the jump in, and Dora will get the turtle. Now they're trying to disengage from this as they lost a 2 in the fight. So Corinthians will be able to find something, but still objective. That turtle goes in the hands of VP. Purple buff will go over to Andoryu.
All right, slow and steady, Corinthians. They're trying to fight back. Ooh, a good arrow again. Now forcing Bomber to ult very early on, but this does mean that Upa is finally unlocked. Wait, hold on, the mid lane. Oh my God, the solo kill. Flick, he's dead again.
Man, Flick needs some help here. He's also just gonna lose the purple buff, and Doryu out for punishment, jumps in under the tier 1, does some damage here. upaTZ there to help him out, pops the beats, but now Luis gonna go ahead and keep Andoryu at bay. I think if Luis didn't make it in time, That was looking like Andori wanted to go under the turret.
Oh, he was thinking about that, but he just didn't expect Upa to show up. He was thinking maybe they wanted Upa to immediately run down to the bottom side, but I think at this point, pretty decent moves. They trade 1 for 1 in terms of their targets on the top side of the map, but this could be a potential dive again. The waves are going to get cleared out. At least for Upa's side, he is able to secure himself at the Sky Piercer. With that in hand, it's going to be very dangerous for Virtus.Pro to make a mistake in front of him. Luis has been playing a strong game, but he needs to protect his boy.
Okay, pops the beats. Upa firing off back. Luis jumps in with the Unbreakable. Not going to be able to find the top, but here comes Pluto. Goes in, finds Upa, flickers forward. Pops a Revitalize from Luis, but not enough to heal him. And Pluto gets away with a sliver of health. A good play from Virtus.Pro there.
One auto would have been it. One auto onto Pluto would have been more than enough. Regardless, this is still a winning scenario for Virtus.Pro, right? They finally shut down Upa TZ's farm, allowing Super Gorka to not only catch up, but most likely break open this bottom tier 1. He's got range, he's got damage as well. Keep in mind, anybody who's walking up is paying the brass tacks with their HP every single time they fall into his sights.
Yeah, it does a whole lot of damage, especially at this point. Turtle's up, third one of the game. Flick finally getting a purple buff. It's been taken from him for the past couple minutes. A Malefic Gun early for Super Gorka, so he's going to have some of that extra range now to work with here. It's going to be great for him as he's looking to work with this space. Has two flickers forward, forcing the fight. There's the response. Upa TZ's in trouble, and Doru picks up the kill off of it. And now Luis in trouble as well. They're split up AOG defensively, but Badcott doesn't care. Jumps on in, a dark wave to follow. Flick has to go back to base, but Bulbert goes down from Hesu. Hesu still running away as Super Gorka is hunting him down. Meanwhile, up here in the mid lane, they're still fighting it out. Pluto backs off, and now the turtle could be for the taking.
Virtus.Pro, despite losing a couple of members, they're still trading 2 for 1 each and every time. This last turtle will fall into the hands of Virtus.Pro as we see that Flick is now on the top side to try and set up a split of his own. At this point, I'm surprised that Super Gorka, considering how far ahead his team is, he recognizes that that gold lead is not his. It's mainly coming in from Andoryu's side. Taking the Malefic Gun is really safe on his approach, because now anybody who walks in, again, must pay that brass tax, has extended. We just need to see Super Gorka start getting the Endless Battles, right? We need him to have some real items. And finally, we see it. Endless Battle already complete. His next item, we're not entirely sure. It could be a Blade of Despair for all intents and purposes, but we'll see what the final build is going to be, because that's just a Legion Sword already complete.
Yeah, he's going to go. I think he's going big damn here, because eventually he is going to be looking for those fights, looking for that damage, and he's already got it, I mean, for the most part. So Corinthians really kind of struggling in some of these skirmishes. They're dealing a whole lot here with Badcott and Pluto just being a nuisance to them. And yeah, they hold on to that tier 1 in the mid and bottom, but they're still going to have to deal with the objective that comes up, because I just feel like they really haven't been able to have a good team fight. Like, they've been split up in a lot of the fights that they've had, and then they're just kind of grasping for positioning. And Upa TZ as well, he only has the dash plus, you know, the flicker for the most part. And Virtus.Pro has a lot of options to go ahead and hunt down Upa TZ if they have to.
They do. And here's the big thing, right? Because this is where we see the difference of mid laners. Oh man, Flick is getting chunked out, and Doryu is just so far ahead. 3 levels ahead. They've been giving him a whole ton of farm.
And meanwhile in the mid lane, while they deal with Andoryu, he's still up there too. 1v2ing, almost gets Flick. Now the mid lane turret gonna fall. So this is just how confident Andoryu and the rest of Virtus.Pro are with the lead they have.
I'm pretty sure he has a concentrated energy, which is why he's so confident into going underneath the turret and walking back out. Let's double check it here. Oh no, he doesn't. Wow, he only just has the Holy Crystal, right? So again, he's getting a decent amount of spell vamp regardless. Either or, we need to see how this is going to play out even further, because the information from Frost is not good enough. He is not getting those deep set traps in enemy territory. He hasn't been taking those types of risks. He is opening up the map, and honestly, a little more accurate than Bobber when it comes down to hitting those arrows. But for now, with the power spike to Super Gorka, this should be pretty free for them.
Oh, so quick. Hesu gonna get dragged and then into the wall. Fist crack, fist break. Hesu falls. Not sure what the idea was there. You know, he was trying to give him maybe information like, hey, the Lord's being taken. But so he falls, and now Virtus.Pro in a great position to go ahead and start marching towards the base of Corinthians here. They've got such a good lead. And this is maybe now the time when we get to see Super Igorka pop off. You know, he's been waiting the whole game, just picked up the BOD, but they're gonna go and work on these holy shields, get these popped before that Lord marches forward.
Yep. And he should. Really, he's going to be a tower monster. He's going to be able to munch down on it pretty easily. Let's look at the damage dealt, right? Because Super Igorka is trying to keep up damage with Upatizi. Again, Upatizi has significantly longer ranges thanks to his skill shots. But here comes the Conceal. Pluto!
Pluto looking for it. The Conceal was used. They're just going to force him off the tier 2. So the Lord finally make its way here down to the bottom side. Corinthians will have to go ahead and deal with this. The charge through. Not sure if they're still going to force the fight. Oh, they jump in anyway. Pluto not able to find that connection that he was looking for, but ultimately they get the base turret. I think they're going to be happy with that off of this. Now Balloon in the lead, up 8,000 gold here. They'll get the last tier 2 up the top. Another shield's going to pop in the mid, but Corinthians will go ahead and clear things out.
Honestly, really great response to the Conceal from the side of Corinthians. Luis immediately got in front of Pluto, but now with no holy shieldings whatsoever, the wave clear is okay for the side of the Corinthians, but it's going to come to a point where really nobody can do it effectively, right? Once we have Lord empowered minions, Upatizi, he's going to eventually get his full build and he won't be able to deal with the wave single-handedly. Same goes for Flick, and that's the big issue, right? Virtus.Pro have a much better composition at sieging their targets, especially if Super Igorka can get within range of the turret. And that's when Corinthians are forced to make a decision. Either I give up this turret or I must look for an engagement. I need to escalate things.
Yeah, and that's why we see, too, because of things getting escalated out of control, you're going to have to get some defensive here for Corinthians. And that's the thing. Rose Gold picked up for Upatizi. He's dealing with so much pressure. And Doru alone is pressure enough for Upatizi a lot of times, because it's just he's able to go to the back line really quickly. But then even so, like I'm waiting to see if Luis gets some more of that magic resist. I know he's on the way to it, but you know, him alone and Hesu, they seem to be, they're supposed to be super tanky, right? But they seem to just lose their health so quickly because there was a radiant armor for Hesu. But now you got to worry about the physical damage here from Super Igorka. You can already see it. Pressure going to be here. He might get caught out. Flickers on out. So Hesu, once again, dealing with the pressure. Unbreakable going to be used, but the beats are popped. And Doru, is he going to be in trouble?
Wow.
But Desanata, Frost won't be able to land that arrow, and now has to flicker out himself. The fight around this side of the jungle again, and now the Lord is up here.
That was a stat check by Endoru. Literally, 3 people on top of him. You can see that the most farmed up hero from the side of Corinthians Esports is Upatizi, basically doing nothing to Endoru. He gets the walk away for free, comes back to the fight, and more importantly, on top of the Lord, he's full health, right? It's like that fight didn't even happen.
I don't think you want to be here, Corinthians, because you don't have battle spells. 2 flickers are down, no revitalize. They might be playing a little bit too close to the line here. Conceal's going to be used. Even at half health, they want to jump in, but they're zoned out because of Bober. So they're forced back to the base, and they're just going to have to defend. That wave up bottom is pushed in too. So we'll see how they play out this defense here. That's the question. Do they have enough items, enough defensiveness too, to withstand this next Lord push?
Bober coming in big time. It's starting to look like mid laners are securing more Lords than junglers themselves at this point. It'll be an interesting stat to see by the end of the group stage. For now, Corinthians, again, stat checked, right? 9.4K, Virtus.Pro basically playing a macroly sound video game. And at this point, they're about, you can basically consider them having the checkmate angle, right? That's the 10K gold difference between Virtus.Pro and as well as the Corinthians. They're off by 800, but at this point, I feel like they can force the scenario on to Corinthians. How they're going to do it, they first need to get Super Igorka in position.
It's Pluto that goes in. He's able to find multiple members with that setup, and they just collapse down from Pluto. Virtus.Pro waited for the moment. They found it. Hesu all alone isn't going to be enough here, and Virtus.Pro will make it happen. They'll make a statement in Game 2 as we head on over to our last and final Game 3.